Every day, millions of passengers place their lives in the hands of the Indian Railways. We move with the assumption that when thousands of tons of steel accelerate to 130 kilometers per hour, the path ahead is clear. On the evening of June 2, 2023, near Bahanaga Bazaar Station in Odisha, the system appeared to be functioning exactly as intended. It was a routine Friday evening for a network that never stops moving. But three massive forces were about to collide at a single point. The high-speed Coromandel Express was passing through. A freight train loaded with iron ore sat parked on a sidetrack, and the Howrah Superfast Express was approaching from the opposite direction. Within seconds, the Coromandel Express slammed into the rear of the stationary freight train. The impact launched passenger coaches across the adjacent tracks, right as the Howrah Express reached the station. Nearly 300 people were killed in the wreckage. But as investigators began their work, they found that the drivers had not missed a single signal. Instead, the digital safety net, designed specifically to make this crash impossible, had suffered a catastrophic internal collapse. To understand the failure, we have to look at how a station manages its space. High-speed trains stay on the main line to pass through without stopping, while loop lines allow trains to pull over and wait, keeping the primary corridor clear. Traffic between these tracks is governed by the electronic interlocking system. This is the digital brain of the station, designed to ensure that two trains can never occupy the same piece of track at the same time. The system follows a strict logical sequence. It will only display a green go signal to a driver if it confirms that the physical track switches are locked into a safe, unoccupied route. These monitors in the control room display the display status of every track in the sector. Operators rely entirely on this feedback loop. If the screen shows a green path, they trust the physical rails outside are aligned perfectly to match it. The entire safety of the network rests on this single point of truth. The digital signal must always reflect the physical reality of the rails. This physical signal hardware communicates instructions to the drivers. As the Coromandel Express approached, the interlocking system displayed a clear green light. The driver was told the main line was locked and safe for high-speed transit. But the system was lying. While the signal was green for the main line, the physical track switch had been mistakenly routed onto the loop line, the exact track occupied by the heavy freight train. Traveling at 128 kilometers per hour, the Coromandel Express followed the green light, only to be suddenly diverted into the back of the iron ore wagons. The force was so immense that it derailed the passenger coaches sideways, throwing them directly onto the opposite track. Moments later, the Howrah Superfast Express approached from the other direction. It struck the derailed coaches at full speed, with no time for the driver to even reach for the brakes. A single failure in the interlocking logic bypassed every physical safety protocol. What should have been a routine bypass became a terminal trap. Through the night, local residents and rescue teams worked in near-total darkness. Under the glare of floodlights, they spent hours cutting through twisted steel to reach those trapped inside the piled coaches. By morning, the scale of the wreckage was fully visible. Heavy excavators were brought in to clear the lines, looking remarkably small against the massive scattered remains of the passenger cars. Official investigations eventually cleared the drivers of any wrongdoing. The root cause was confirmed as a specific error in the electronic interlocking system that allowed a green signal to be given for a misaligned track. The disaster led to an immediate overhaul of railway safety policy. The government mandated urgent audits of all signaling systems and accelerated the rollout of automated anti-collision technology across the nation. But for the families of the 296 people who died, the policy changes came too late. As global infrastructure becomes more automated and complex, Balasore defines the true priority for the future. The speed and reach of a network matter very little if the invisible logic protecting its passengers is allowed to fail.